Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. Today we're going to be talking about email etiquette. Who are you really talking to? How to be courteous? How are you perceived? Katie's going to give us some great tips and tricks on that today. I'm Karen. I'm a CPA, entrepreneur with big ideas, and I'm the mom.
I'm Cadie. I'm a payroll specialist, business owner, and detail-oriented person that makes things happen, and I'm the daughter. Welcome to Cheers to Business.
Cadie, I know that sometimes you've corrected my emails because I'm very blunt to the point and blah. And so how can I do better?
I don't want to say that I'm correcting. I'm just helping you to improve.
See,
because
the mother-daughter roles are reversing.
I think people forget that you're perceived through email. And there's such an importance on, how you represent yourself at social settings. And so I think the world we live in, that same importance should be put on how you are, in the virtual world through email.
I think my email truly represents me. If you ask me a question, I'm going to go, yeah. No.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being direct. That's how you communicate.
Right.
And so that's one of my things is as you're sending email, think about your recipient. Do they like direct? Do they like bullet points? Should you ask about how their family is doing? Or like you, do they just want to get to the point?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So that was one of them is know who you're sending your email to and try to, similar to how people mimic body language, and it helps that other person feel more comfortable. There's whole studies on it. Same thing with your communication via email.
So if you don't want to communicate with that person, you just do whatever. And if you want to, you need to study how they do their email so you could email them like they want it.
Do you want your message to be read? The next thing is your subject line. You and I both use our email as our to-do list.
We do.
Well, if you have 15 messages with all the same subject.
Or nothing in it? Nothing
no subject is the worst thing that you can do.
I'll need to work on that.
But if your office emails you the subject missed call, how many emails are you going to have with that message?
Great point.
Same thing, tax question.
Yeah.
Or just question. Really be specific with your subject line so that person, one, knows what it's about before they even open it. Is that first impression.
Now, when I'm looking for information for tax returns, like I know I'm missing something or I've got a question, I'll put tax 18 in the subject line.
Right. So why not add the last name of who you're speaking to and your business name so that they know, say they're searching for messages from you.
Oh, that's a good idea. I could put KCS tax 18.
When I email a proposal, it's not just proposal XYZ, it's proposal XYZ company, Payroll Vault. Because I know that they're probably getting proposals from other companies as well. So I want to be specific that it's my proposal.
Would you put Payroll Vault first?
Personally, I don't. Because I like to say what it is, who it's regarding, and then more details after that.
For sorting and searching, too. That's a great...
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Next is proofread.
Yeah, I'm getting better at that. No? You and I email a lot.
You sent me an email the other day that said they need just the summer. And I spent a good 10 minutes trying to figure out what the hell you were talking about.
You're right, because I went and said, why can't she understand me? And so
exactly.
I went back, so I took time.
No, you called me. Because I replied back with a question, what are you talking about? And so you called me and you're like, why don't you understand? And I'm like, go read your email. And
well, I did. And yeah, my dumb phone.
You didn't proofread.
I did not proofread it, and it totally mucked it up.
And
it made no sense whatsoever. And we both just wasted time.
Exactly.
I get it.
Spend the 30 seconds to proofread to save that other person time trying to figure out what you're talking about. Because it's hard to reply, especially when you're clearly mother-daughter, but when you're in that business relationship, it can be difficult to tell that person, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, and it's the tone. You never know the tone.
That's a whole nother thing.
And then grammar. Now, one thing I've tried to work on is taking, instead of saying there or he or she, I know. I learned it from you.
Yeah, you read my paper before we started.
You got me.
Clarity. So along with the proofreading, really
I thought I could pull that one off.
Nice try. Be specific. So instead of, what is she doing? What is Jane doing?
Right.
And being specific. And it really helps because email can be confusing, especially if it's going back and forth, multiple
and the different
emails.
threads.
The threads. So, be conscious of your he, she, they, we. Really specify, not we'll get the proposal sent. Payroll Vault will send the proposal.
Right.
So being your company specific or their names.
And that's something that we've talked about before is if you change in the conversation, get a new thread, start a new email.
Yes, I learned that from somebody else. I was ordering promotional products. And so we were talking about Christmas cards. And then I mentioned in that email, hey, I also need cups. And so she said, okay, great, I'll start a new thread. And she sent me another email with a more specific subject, our company name, cups. And then we started talking about that. And I thought that was so smart.
That's
then
really brilliant. Searches or, you may want to store them in different places for different reasons. You don't want crossover.
Well, and the to-do factor. If you're using your inbox as your to-do list,
and I do,
and if there's multiple things happening in one email that are totally unrelated,
right?
It's nice to be able to kind of, delete that email. Well, we got our Christmas cards, and then here's this new email with the cups, for example. Right. Next is your intro. I think that's very important. As far as I've seen before, I had one person email me a resume. The intro was just very unprofessional. And so be conscious of your hi or your hello. I always recommend hi versus hey.
Really? Why? Because I say hey a lot.
Well, it depends. Again, it goes back to who are you speaking with.
Right.
If you were emailing a proposal to, this $1 million company, you wouldn't be saying,
No.
Hey, Mr. CEO.
No, this is people that I know.
But if it's a client, that's been a client of 15 years, you see each other on the weekends, then that's a whole lot different.
Yeah, no, I mean, some of them are like, hey, chick, or hey, lady, or it depends on who the person is.
It depends on the person,
right.
Know who you're communicating with. And you do the same thing in person, in real life. So
no.
It's carrying that over into the email world.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, it's Kieran on a screen when I email. It's just like I talk. Now, I want to talk about signatures too.
Okay.
CPAs have to have a disclaimer in the bottom of their emails. And it's for the license and different things. And I've noticed on attorneys, there's just language you have to use.
That big chunky signature.
Yeah, the big chunky that you have to scroll 3 times to get past. But I've got a default where if I'm like responding to somebody that has nothing to do with accounting, it doesn't include my signature. I have to go put it on. So if I'm giving tax advice, I make sure that disclaimer's in there. But some people, I think I'm getting attachments with their emails, and it's just their logo. What are your thoughts on the etiquette of sending all that stuff in signatures and attachments?
But
JPEG or GPEG?
You think it's an attachment, but it's just their Facebook icon or LinkedIn. So, that's a preference, and it depends on the receivers, whether they're using a Mac or a PC, how it comes in. They can use the icon, or they can just have the hyperlink down at the bottom. Or
that's that www.
The link, yeah.
Did you watch the show when I hosted Law Call the other night?
I was in bed, asleep.
Well, I hosted Law Call last Sunday night. It's a live call-in show. And she asked me a question. I was hosting, but the reporter was there. The anchor person, she's really nice. But anyway, she said something about website, and I went, yeah, www. And I went, oh, I'm not supposed to say that, not to that on live TV. I don't know why they keep asking me back.
So be conscious of images you have in your signature. Could you replace those with a link? And it could just, free up when the person receives the message, so they're not having to be downloaded.
Yeah, downloaded or taking the time to open them up because you think it's something important.
So that brings up the importance of naming your attachment. So
I need to do better at that.
Not tax document, but really having their name and then specifically what it is. I read recently on entrepreneur.com that there should not be more than 2 attachments per email because of the security settings on emails now. A lot of them are being blocked if there's more than 2 attachments. So they're not being received at all. Plus, it can be a pain for someone to, make sure that they open all of those attachments. So I bring that up, especially if you're doing anything like sponsorship related, and you've got the sponsorship letter, the sponsorship membership
Yes.
form, all that other information. Really take the time to condense those into one document via PDF so that there's only one attachment and they're not having to open up multiple things.
I absolutely love that. 'Cause
It's just a courtesy thing. The next is when there's multiple people on the email. And if you're asking a question, really be specific of who the question is going to. You know, there could be 3 people on the email, and let's say the email says, hey, when's this report getting done?
Yeah.
Well, who's responsible? So really, you know, Jane, when will this report be done?
I try to look when that happens. I think everybody does it, but I look to see who am I CC'd or the 2 person. If I'm on the 2 line, then they're asking me. If I'm on the CC, they just want me to know that person's asking them.
I think, yes, as a common courtesy, that is the rule. However, I think not many people, I don't know if they don't know that or if it gets overlooked. So I am very pro addressing that person's name. Again, going back to clarity.
Yeah. Now, a lot of times, too, I'll include 3 or 4 members of the team on an email, and I try to remember to put, Dawn, comma, blah, blah,
Exactly.
blah.
That's what I'm talking
Amanda,
about.
comma, blah, blah, blah. Because I'll be talking to a client and a team member, and so there's a lot of different directions of stuff that needs to be done. What'd I do?
No, so touching on that, how many times have you gotten 15 thank yous back when you didn't need an acknowledgement?
Oh,
so
so
if you're saying, Dawn, blah, 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 put in parentheses, no reply necessary. And then boom, you've just saved their time from replying when it's not necessary, and it saved you time from not having to open and delete that message.
We have openly discussed that in the office. I tell that when I hire somebody. If I send you something, I don't need a thank you, because then I feel like I have to say you're welcome. Now we've all just wasted time, and I'm trusting you to do your job. Sometimes I do like this is done, but I have so many emails. It is nothing for me to get 200 to 300 emails a day. And it's just, thank you. Okay, no, now I got to say you're welcome back, even though I do appreciate it. Now I sound like a horrible person.
It's not that you're a horrible person, but the moment that someone doesn't acknowledge it, like this has been completed, you're probably going to see it in your inbox a few days later, and you're going to wonder, was it completed? So, really communicating with that person your expectations.
Right.
I think that's important. Blind copy.
Eek.
Dun, dun, dun.
You always learn because you got bit in the ass, right? So I'd sent out to these 10 clients, and I blind copied, and I didn't say anything. And then, somebody replied all back. It's just information I want to get to people. Something about the new tax reform laws or something that applies to them or a certain industry. My first line, going to multiple people for information purposes, please do not reply all. Just so I tell them that you're not the only one on this email. Be careful who you reply to.
So you know what I do when there's that? So let's say that a client asks a really good question and I'm replying. What I will do is I'll CC myself so that it comes back to my inbox, and then I forward it to everybody with the subject FYI only and then a detailed of it.
Right.
So that way the internal communication isn't going to the outside person.
I like that. Now, here's something else I've done too, and I don't feel like it's sneaky, because either I needed a team member to know about this conversation so that while they're working on the client, they would be aware of it. So sometimes I will CC or BC, or if a client asks me a question and I've done a research on a tax project or something, and it's just great information that they need to know for their careers, not necessarily for that client, but for their knowledge. Then again, that knowledge share thing, a lot of times I'll CC or BC them.
So how do they know that it's informational purposes
We've
only?
had the conversation. I've actually sent emails saying, I'm going to blind copy you, without having to copy, paste, redo. Don't reply, because I want you to know this. And I will do this from time to time. And I've told them.
Okay. Wrap it up. Overall, be conscious of who you're sending the message to. Know your audience, your recipient. Detailed subject line. Proofread the email. And take a second look at your signature and just concentrate on if you have graphics or hyperlinks.
And be clear. Don't say there, she, he,
Clarity.
we. Put the name so somebody can, I'm working on this, can know exactly what you're talking about and how it pertains to them.
It saves everybody time. Your email is a direct reflection of you. So take a little extra time to work on that etiquette.
Oh, you need a poster board for that. That was good.
Thanks.
In a nutshell, what's the message for today?
Really, with email communication, you want to concentrate on it just like you would a professional in-person meeting. So
Did you say 3 C's?
Well, not yet.
One day I'll get the
punchline.
Okay, I'm sorry.
3 C's. Your email needs to be clear, correct, and courteous.
Oh, that was good, though.
All right. Cheers to
Professional emails if you want to be seen professionally.
cheers to knowing how to talk to people.
Through typing. Y'all, thank you so much for listening and being here with us today. I'm Karen.
I'm Cadie. Please be sure to subscribe to Cheers to Business podcast on iTunes or anywhere else that you get your podcast. Visit our Facebook and be sure to give us a like. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, shoot us an email from the website cheerstobusiness.com.